What's up guys, Shawnthebro here, and in today's episode of the fighting game tutorial series we are going to be going over huge menu navigation improvements part 3. This will tie up all the loose ends of our menus so that they all work using the same system, which is awesome, and I'm also going to remove any unneeded code from previous systems as well, because I did not get all of it in the previous episode. As I mentioned, there is a little bit in the main menu that we have that we no longer need. So we might as well clean all that up so we can be happy with all of our menus. Then going forward, any menus we make will use this method, so it will be really easy to add navigation to them, and I'm looking forward to it. We're going to be handling our character select and stage select screens because they are the only two menus or widgets that we have in our game that have navigation but don't follow the new standard that we set up previous episodes. So that's what we're covering today. If you want to get caught up in the entire fighting game tutorial series so you can see how we've done things like our hitboxes, attacks, commands, camera work, and a lot more, I'll link you to the entire playlist right here in the top right corner so that you can check all of that out. There's a new episode every Sunday. Alternatively, if you only care about a menu navigation system and navigation improvements, then I'll link you to the top right corner right here where we go over menu navigation part 1. That way you can start from the very beginning and see how far it's progressed and also follow along one-to-one. With that out of the way, we can go ahead and get started. This is a code and blueprint tutorial series. Since we're dealing with our menus and widgets, we're going to be modifying our blueprint logic today on those menus, so it's mainly going to be in blueprints, but we may have to add a few inputs to our widget navigation interface in the code. Starting out, let's go to our character select screen. So blueprints, widgets, menus, character select screen. Go to the graph. If I go to my event graph and go to event construct, we are listening for input actions on our menu left, menu right, menu up, menu down. And then we have inputs for player 2 as well, which is important and something that we will cover. But let's only focus on player 1 for now, because the player 2 stuff is a little bit different than anything that we've handled in our widget navigation interface. This is something we will handle outside of this. Menu confirm and change outfit. Change outfit is not one that we have handled in these widgets, so we will need a new input on our widget navigation interface. But let's move these ones over first. So first things first, I'm going to come down here and make some space. And we need to go to class settings and scroll down to our interfaces section, go to implemented interfaces and add widget navigation interface. This will allow us to get our events that we want. Then we're going to put them in the graph here. So move left, we want event move left. Event move right, event move up, event move down. So we have these, and then we had confirm, and again we had this change outfit one. We also have back, event confirm, event back. All of our P1 events we can now move over to use this logic. So this is menu left, this is menu right, this is menu up, this is menu down for P1. So we can just make sure that we do the same logic in these events as we were doing in listen for input actions. Left, right, up, down. And once we get all these in here, we can remove these listen for input actions, the events, and the code associated with them to clean this section up. If you've been following the series and watched the last episode, you will be very familiar with what I'm doing here. So we'll help keep this organized. Next one is P1 menu confirm. And next one is P1 back, which is a pretty loaded one here, but we'll copy it. Okay, and at this point we can come up here and take out P1 menu confirm. And P1 back as well. So since we've already handled this, brought this event over here, We can now get rid of all the logic in here. Note that we have on pressed back button, which is when we actually select the back button via input or if we click it with a mouse. I don't want to get rid of that event. I just want to get rid of the custom one that we have. So I'm going to move everything over, and then I am going to take the on press back button so we don't lose our mouse input, and I'm going to plug it into the same spot where we have event back here. So at this point we're using the widget navigation interface, so we can come in here, go to our character select screen, and navigate it just like we normally would. Perfect. Now we want to do the same thing with the stage select screen, so let's do that part right now as well. And it is called the level select screen, graph. Same deal here, we go to event construct and we see that we have P1 menu left, P1 menu right, up, down, confirm, and return or back. In this one we also have start match, and character select screen we have something similar as well called go to level select. You'll notice I stepped over those ones. These ones we will also talk about in a minute, so don't worry about that right now. Let's just focus on the ones that we did in the character select screen. So class settings in the level select screen, go down to interfaces, add a new implemented interface, and use the widget navigation interface. Compile and save. And come over here to where you want to add them. Event move left. Event move right. Event move up. Event move down. Event confirm. Event back. And this will be good for now. So same as before, I'm going to use all my P1 events and copy them into the right spot. So left, right, up, down, confirm. So left, right, up, down, and confirm. Same with back. We have to go grab back. So return to character select event here is our back in this case because it's return P1. Now strangely, we set this up where there is different logic depending on if we press the back button manually and if we don't. That is not correct. We want both of these to be doing the same thing each time. So ignore that discrepancy, that is a bug, but we're fixing it now by combining that logic and then copying it and pasting it over here in event back. So here it is. And now we want to make sure we keep our on press back button as well. Like I said, with the character select, we don't want to lose our mouse inputs or other forms of navigation. Now we can get rid of all the logic in event construct related to listening for input actions for P1. So P1, menu left, right, up, down, get rid of them. Keep the P2 stuff. Next one is P1 menu confirm. And return to character select as well. We can get rid of this one. There we go. And now we have cleaned up a ton of this logic, and all the logic for the controls of the menu will be right here and working for player 1. So this part is good to go. So now the next thing that I want to do is go to my main menu screen widget. That is in Blueprints, Widgets, Menus, Main Menu Screen, which is right here. Go to the graph. I want to remove some of the logic that we no longer need. So we should not need our booleans that we had set up about these pop-ups and these other menus. These were created to ignore inputs on the main menu or some other menus if a certain menu was up, because the main menu screen was always running in the background. With our widget navigation improvements, we should not need to track all of these because the current widget variable does this for us. I'm going to go to all the references of each of these. So is news pop-up open? See where we're setting it to true. I'm going to get rid of it. And I'm going to remove all references of this. So it was in the event graph, move selection, and confirm selection. All of these are going to be very similar. When we want to get rid of it now that there are no references, we can click on it and delete it. And it is still in use elsewhere. So that means we may have to find references in other files, which we can do by selecting the binoculars here, find in all blueprints. And it's being set in the news pop-up, which makes sense because we're saying once we exit the news pop-up, we're setting this variable to false. We no longer need to do this, so we can just remove that and move everything over. Compile and save that. This is the news pop-up widget. I'm going to go back to my main menu screen, and this boolean should now be able to be deleted, and it can be. But the news pop-up should not cause any issues anymore because of our new navigation scheme. So we move on to the next one, which is quit game up. So right click, find references. It is in move selection. It is in confirm selection, both when we're confirming the exit game button and when we're checking to make sure that it's not already up. Getting rid of it here. Compile and save, and I'm going to delete it here. It's in use, so we can find it in all blueprints. And you can see it is in use in the exit game pop-up, which we would expect. Go there, and when we're pressing confirm, this is the option to not quit out of our game to return to the main menu. We were setting this back to false, but we don't need to do that anymore. So we can clean that up. This is our exit game pop-up. Close this, go back to the main menu screen, and delete this variable now. There we go. Next one, is session list open? This is for our online play. So find references, we see it's in move selection, remove it. It is in confirm selection, we're setting it when we create the widget, get rid of that, and we're checking for it in confirm selection at the start, get rid of it. Compile and save. This is likely going to be used in the session list, so we can go ahead and find in all blueprints, and we see this case right here. And we'll see when we are exiting out of the session list, we're setting it to false. We don't need to do that anymore. We can just get rid of that variable. And this is my session list widget. Go back to the main menu screen again, and now we should be able to get rid of this variable. We can. Next one is the settings menu. So find references. It is in move selection. And that is the last boolean for this OR statement that was going to this branch. So we don't need this anymore either. So in move selection, we can get rid of the OR, the following branch, and just connect the code like this. So now it is much cleaner. Compile and save. Confirm selection. So we were setting it when we were creating the setting screen widget. I don't need to do this anymore. There's a node right after it, stop listening for input actions. So it was stopping the widget from listening to the menu confirm. So if we were confirming options on the settings menu, the main menu wasn't hearing it. But we don't need to do this anymore either. Again, the widget navigation interface logic we set up handles this. So we can just remove that safely. And the other instances here at the start of confirm selection, we can get rid of it. This leaves this OR statement empty, which means this is useless, which means we don't need this branch, which means we can clean all of this up. There we go. But we probably can't delete that yet. Let's look in our all blueprints, and you see in the settings screen we have this boolean. So we want to go here, and when we're exiting the settings, we were setting this boolean back to false, but we don't need to do that anymore. So there we go, settings screen cleaned up right here. All right, now going back to the main menu, we try and delete is settings menu open, and we can. Compile and save. The last one is online submenu open? This one is valid because this is not an actual other menu. That's why I called it a submenu. It is this little pop-up. It is part of the main menu screen. So we do want to make sure that we don't do certain things when this is popped out. So that's intended, not tech debt. That is what we want by design. Make sure we don't have any other stop listening for input actions. Or just stop listening. And we don't. That's good. We don't want any more in here now because everything should work without that. So if we come into our game, I can navigate everything like expected on the main menu, and then if I go to, say, my settings, which is a complicated one, I can go through here, I can press enabled, I can back out, and you'll see I did not move where I was at on the menu, as expected. Same with quit game. So everything seems to be working as expected. Make sure you check all of your menus, but now we are good to go. So anyway, guys, that's how you can clean up your menu and make it so much easier to use and add on to in our future. And look how many menus we're supporting with this system. It is wonderful. If you enjoyed this episode and it helped make your menus cleaner, then please subscribe and consider joining the channel through Patreon, YouTube membership, or Discord subscriptions. To the kind souls that already have, I really appreciate you. Thank you all so much for all the love and support. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this series as much as I am. If you ran into any problems while following this tutorial or any of my tutorials, feel free to join the Discord community. I'd be happy to help you, and that support is completely free. That's all I got, guys, so thank you so much for watching. I'm Shawnthebro, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye, guys.